Get some really good quality time together in.
Sure.
My pregnant daughter and I have had an accident.
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Frost, and this 2022 film was directed by Brandon Slagle and stars Devanny Pinn, Vernon Wells, and Venus DeMilo Thomas. The story of this movie is about this heavily pregnant woman who has just reconnected with her father. Then they decide to spend some quality time together, so they leave their phones at home and go fishing. Along the way, while they're driving to go to the fishing spot, they get into a car accident, and the woman is pinned in the car and can't get out. And so the father has to go get help, and she has to survive there for a few days. And of course, at night, it also gets cold. Who would have thought? So what will happen? What will happen to this pregnant lady? What will happen to her baby? Well, you have to watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this movie. So what works? Well, all the characters are likable. I'm actually surprised. I didn't really want to like them in the beginning. One of them's like an alcoholic, and the pregnant woman just seems off to me. So despite my best efforts, I did end up liking them, which is definitely, credit to this movie. Other than that, I would say all of the shooting was good. It is very much, she's just stuck in this car, so they're doing different angles of her in this one static place. So you do have to get used to the place, but all of the shooting was good. You could definitely tell what was going on at all times. You could see everything that was happening. So yeah, that worked. And lastly, with this movie, it is listed as a horror. I didn't think it was particularly scary, but I did think there was lots of gross out stuff. At one point she gets this like worm that she has to eat because she doesn't really have any food. And that's gross, eating a worm. She's like sewing her stitches together with like a fishing hook, and that's kind of gross how they show it. And then this ending, oh my gosh, I was so grossed out by this ending. If you like kind of the extreme gross stuff, then this ending is going to be 100% gross. I actually had to fast forward through it. I was thinking about that for like the next few days. It was disgusting. I won't give it away, of course, but if you like that gross out stuff, yeah, this is going to be for you in the end. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this movie. Well, there is no bad guy because, of course, it's just like a survival horror thing where she has to survive in the wilderness in this car for a few days. And so it's not very intense that way. Of course, you're rooting for that, pregnant lady the whole time, but it's not very, there's no tension that way. You're just waiting around with her, and that can be not very exciting. Other than that, like with this car accident, it's like their own fault. The roads aren't icy or anything. It's clearly like a spring day or something, but the roads aren't icy. The alcoholic father is driving, so I don't know, sure, if he's like a functional alcoholic, but still, maybe don't let him drive, so it's kind of their own fault anyways. And then, yeah, what else? The situations they're in, they're like, seatbelts are stuck, and that's a problem. I know you gotta get rid of your seatbelt, and that's not very exciting, that type of stuff. And so it does lack that intensity, I would say, that other, horror movies have. But if you're in it for, save the pregnant woman, then this should be up your alley. If you're in it for the scares and the heart-pounding stuff, there's not much heart-pounding things until the very end, like I said, but it's interesting. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. It's interesting. Other than that, with this woman in this car, it's kind of funny, but she keeps like finding things in like the glove compartment and down in the pocket. So everything in the car is very accessible to her still, even though she's just like pinned in place. And I thought that was, takes away from the intensity. Other than that, they're supposed to be on like, I call it like an escarpment or a bluff where it's just like a sheer drop in the middle of the forest. And I never had the feeling that she was actually on this like sheer cliffside, because the way it's filmed, there's like a bush like 5 feet away or whatever. So I never got that feeling as well. I always just wanted to open the door and walk away, right? So yeah, not that intense that way. But again, if you're in it for, save the pregnant woman, then you'll feel so many feelings with this one. So who would I recommend this movie for? Well, you know, going through, I had a hard time kind of thinking about this one. I was thinking maybe like a pregnant woman would like it in case they're, you know, stuck in the forest, and then they can know what to do. But then that ending happens, and I cannot recommend it for pregnant women anymore. If you're really into like Save the Babies and you're really into horror, then you'll feel so many intense feelings throughout this whole thing, I think. Other than that, again, if you're like an extreme file for that gross out type of stuff, then this might be something you might also enjoy. As for a rating, I'm going to give it the average score of 5. I probably could go down to 4 and have no problems about it. It's just that with this one, I felt so many intense emotions that I haven't felt in a while, so I'll give it a 5, why not? And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.